Good morning. All right. I have some people joining me. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Hello, Clarice. Hello, Janet. And we may have some others pop on, but I am so excited that I actually have people on because this is the official holiday of Christmas observed. So I did put my lipstick on for y'all today.
I was surprised you were going to really have it, but I checked Talkify and everything, and it was still showing up. So
why not? Why not? I would have just been sleeping in, and that's just wasting time, right?
I don't know. I kind of like sleeping in.
Yes. Well, I'm glad to see you today. And I thought, well, especially because the topic is the budget model, which I personally is probably not my favorite. And that's just because in financial peace, I'm a free spirit. I don't know if you have ever
I'm the nerd.
into money matters or ventured into, there's Polani, ventured into money matters or financial peace, but you have savers and you have free spirits. And hopefully two free spirits aren't in the same household. That's how it happens at my house. So free spirits really they just love to go, right? And they want to do what they want to do. And I believe that when you look at the budget model, that real estate agents in their business, they do what they do in their normal life a lot of times. They're free spirits. They're those gypsies, right? Gypsies are colorful. They travel from place to place to get where they need to go in life. And we do that sometimes with our business. One thing doesn't work, we pack up our gypsy wagon and we go somewhere else, right? And we look for a different lead generation system. So welcome, Pulani. And we're gonna dive into the budget model, which we're not doing a whole lot of pages today. It's really a simplistic thing. And I think when we talk budgets and numbers, and there's this spreadsheet in here that has all these percentages that a lot of people check out, those percentages don't apply to me, right? So I think this section, a lot of people can get it wrong and they just ignore it altogether. They skip over that. And we're seeing that in the office because, right, you've already had how many, smoke signals skywriting from the office trying to get you to pay G-card dues before the 31st, right? It's always a challenge. And dues and MLS dues are a time when people close their business doors. They shut their business and they close it down, and they had a big why on why they got started, and the budget model and the lack of the lead generation model is the reason why. I mean, that's very simplistic and basic, but it is true. So on page 152, if you're joining us, and these are on my YouTube channel, and I think the office was going to put them on our company YouTube channel, all of our sessions we've been doing. We're going through the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, and we are on page 152, just talking about the budget model and its expenses versus investment. And I don't know if you guys got a chance to read these several pages, if there's a natural rhythm to your business. And I think it's like I heard, you can't manage what you don't measure. And that's true with every single thing that we do with real estate, with our finances at our house. So if you don't have a budget at home, there's a pretty good chance you don't have a budget for your real estate business as well. Do you think that's a fair statement for if we talk about the whole, the dynamics of the real estate business? Or do you disagree? This is an open forum. Do you have a budget at home, but not for your real estate business, and why?
Well, I'm the nerd in the family. So we went through financial peace. And then once we got debt free, we really stopped doing the budget on a regular basis. And occasionally I'll get it out and work it up. And I'm like, okay, I don't know where this is going to come from, but.
You know what? Thank you for bringing that up, because I think if you've ever gone through financial peace, and this office, when I say Keller Williams changed my life all the way around as a person, it has over the long, there's in different areas of my life, in different times of my life, the company has been very impactful on who I am as a person, and not just about real estate. So Janet, I think that I heard more about financial peace as a class through Keller Williams than any broker that I had been with before. So I agree, you get that knowledge in those basics and those models to get debt free, and you still have to go back, because it's just like your weight, right? You lose it and then you get a little bit of extra, and then you go, what am I doing? So I think that applies to everything. And financial peace is a great thing to go through. So if you haven't done that, you may not need to do it. But because I'm telling you that I'm a free spirit, yes, I paid off, and I'm just going to be very, very vulnerable. I paid almost $40,000 of debt off in a year from financial peace. And I got to a place where I didn't even believe I could do that. So KW has had a huge impact on my life. And I still have free spirit living within me. So that's my own opportunity. And if you are a saver, God bless you. So if you've got that personality. And I think you have to look at that in your business as well, is that there are cost and versus investments on page 152. And it's how you look at things. Your budget model is about understanding what happens to your money between the time you receive it as gross revenue, or we call that GCI, gross commission income, right? When it comes from the title company to you, made payable to the broker, and keeping it as net income. And there's a lot of pieces to it getting to the net income here in the office, and then after that, between how you're budgeting your business. And so it's about expenses or minimizing your expenses so you can maximize your net income. So it's profit and loss, basically. And if you're not doing profit and loss, that sounds very accounting-y, right? And I don't even know if that's a word, accounting-ish. And you do it once a month, and it's very simple. It's money in, money out. Did you make a profit and loss? Did you keep your money? So there are a lot of people making big bucks in real estate, but not keeping any of it. Have you heard that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
So don't let the production part make you think that someone's taking a whole lot of money. I think the more production you have, and I know according to this, you have to really watch it. You have to really hold your money accountable and what you're paying out in cost of sales and also in expenses to be able to take home. And there is a best practice. And it's that 30-30-40 that you guys have seen in the business planning clinic. And as you have a smaller business, you're going to work up to that. And you don't need to make it so complicated as you get started. So the budget model, cost versus investment.
Where's the light?
On page 153. So I have a few things underlined. See every dollar spent as an investment in your future. So, and spending, and also holding your dollars accountable for a return back. You should get multiple dollars back when you're looking at that. Now, I know I've mentioned that I had this business by the book, which I love, and it's got some new numbers in it for the budget model. And it says that the major two expenses in a real estate business are salaries. And some of you may not be there yet in how much production you have, and lead generation, what you're spending on how you're getting your leads. Would you guys agree with that? When you look at your expenses for your business, those are on this Zoom.
My biggest
Yes.
expense has been education and coaching.
Okay,
Because-
so I love
because
that you're
it's-
tracking that.
Well, I mean, if you're in mastery, it's $1,000 a month. If you're in
Mhm.
breakthrough, it's $450 a month. And if you're in coaching in the market center, it comes out of your GCI. But
Mhm.
anyway, between that and then if you go to family reunion, the travel expenses and all of that, and that's where I've usually gone way over what they suggest.
Okay, so when you look at the percentages, you have a little bit more of that in terms of the percentage that you should be spending. And actually, education and coaching is number 3 on the list for if you did the big 3. And so since you really don't have salaries in your business, Janet, that lead gen and education and coaching, that makes sense for you. So
Yeah,
it
I've
could
been real
be,
stingy on the lead gen. I haven't done any Zillow or any of that stuff.
well, and you don't have to. I mean,
Yeah.
remember, lead gen sources are probably different for all of you, but you should have 3 or 4 that you should spend your money when you look back at how much you're getting in from the sources that are giving you the most leads. That's where you would focus that. So when you look back at your tracking on your business, so that lead generation, that model there, where your business is coming from, that would be the place that you would want to budget the money. I think when you look at how you're going to do those drip campaigns when we talked about that last week. And if you're going to implement anything that's going to cost you, mailers, events, all those things, the plan for the year, the big design of your year and how you're going to do your systems is where you're going to budget your money, mostly when you do this budget model. So you can look at, well, how I'm going to do 2 events for the year. I may leverage the fall festival that the office does, right? Because that's going to save you some money, because they're going to put in getting sponsors for some of that. So look at ways you can do things the cheapest way, but the best way when you're doing some of those things. And how much does that really cost? So there's some time that you would spend, but with the budget model on how much do all of these pieces that I need to really hit my goals for lead generation this year cost me? And is that going to give me a return on investment? Now you have to give something a little bit of time to, if you go to like agents that'll do one open house and they're like, well, nobody came, so I'm not doing that ever again. That was a waste of my 2 hours. You have to do time on task over time, and you have to give something your full on attention and focus to see the end result, just like making calls, right? One day you call, nobody answers the phone. The next day you call, everyone answers the phone, and the numbers work out in the end when you start tracking it. And the budget model's that way too. It says play red light, green light with your expenses. When you have money, then you spend money. When you don't have money, you go back to lead generating and you get money, right? So you hold on to your money before you spend. So I love Janet, Janet, you really do have a lot of great organization and models. And I love how that you've filtered through what you're doing with the percentages. And I mean, it sounds like you do a lot of reflection on your budget. How often do you look at the budget model or the profit and loss statement? Do you have a regular schedule? Do you do that monthly? Do you do it quarterly? Do you do it weekly? What's that look like?
I don't do anything with my finances except once a week, because at one time it was like every single day and it was getting so time consuming and frustrating, and I felt disorganized. So I basically do that on the weekends. And then when the bank statement comes out, then I put together it's just a personal bank account that I use. It's not the one I use for my family, but it's not classified as a business account. So the statement comes in the middle of the month. So at that point in time, then I go back and look at the previous month and do the P&L.
I love that. I think that as a society, we've gotten away from, I mean, I used to be a banker. Okay. So I mean, we've gotten away from, do we balance our checkbook? No, we don't. We look at a running check debit card total, and it doesn't give you beginning of the month statement or end of the month balance. And as long as I'm in the good, man, that's great. Right. So I think that's how people really do roll with life now. They've been, they don't actually do a balance and see what was the beginning of the month balance, how much money did I spend, what money flowed into my account and out of my account, and what did I end up with at the end of the month. That's not what we do anymore. But I think you do have to do it as a business owner for sure. Now, the book says that when you hold your expenses accountable, so making an investment in you, and you're holding your expenses accountable, I'm going to give you the number that the MREA number 2 has for the budget model. You should have a $9.50 return on every dollar spent when giving, like looking at something that you're spending your money on. Now you might buy Zillow leads and have 5 closings, and you may go, well, that math worked out, right? But that's the math. So you look at it and say, am I going to keep putting my money there or not? Spend a dollar, make a dollar is not really a good investment. So the 3 areas that you focus on are leading with revenue. And some of you guys that are out there in Facebook land may have heard me say that to you when you ask me about renting office space, right? If you're brand spanking new out of the business and you come in and you want to start renting a desk, I may say, well, lead with revenue first and not expense, right? Because you want to get some money flowing. Play red light, green light. Do you have money or not? Do you do that at home? When you do your budget at home, you do that. Oh, I don't have enough this month. I need to do something different, and stick to your budget, but you can't stick to it if you don't have one. So those are the things that I think out of this section, instead of the huge model of all the percentages, at first you have to be ground zero and look at those 3 things. That's the main 3 focus areas.
Sally, I think the hardest.
What?
I think the hardest thing on red light, green light is figuring out exactly what, where that business came from specifically, especially when you're looking at your 36 touch and you've got postcards, you've got maybe Facebook ads, you've got, I don't know what all you know, client events, that all that stuff. You don't know exactly which of those things triggered somebody to send you a referral or to, you know, do business with you. And that's what I struggle with when it says red light, green light.
So in terms of spending money on lead generation, so any of you guys on the Zoom here, now listen, Facebook Live. Last week, I thought I was going to watch y'all over here and that messed with my sound. So if you have a question and you put it in the comments, I will come back to you later after this is over. Okay. So any of you though on this Zoom experience, can you help Janet with that? Do you have any way that you track the things that she just mentioned from your referrals to help you have an understanding if they came from that? And I heard you say client events, Facebook ads. What else did you mention, Janet?
Mailings.
Mailings. How do you guys know where your business came from? Do you have a strategy around that?
Well, I think when you look at if you're marketing to your database is a little different than when you're lead generating. Like if you're just sending out mailers to everyone, it's a little different. So you can partition it. So if this person is in your database, that's actually a different marketing bucket for me anyways, like database marketing for referrals versus I'm just lead generating, sending out, whether it be postcards or mailers or any kind of lead generation where I don't have that person in my database.
Yeah, I think that's true, Polani. Do you think it also could be getting in the habit of how would we ask that? Like, I mean, I was thinking not in real estate, but other things. Have you ever gotten the thing that says, how did you hear about us? Oh, I have when I've gone to a new doctor or a new place and they list all the things, you know, YouTube, Google, friend, la, la, la. It could be an ask too, just on, you know, did you see me? Did you get a mailer? How did you come about, you know, from out there in the world, all the places I market. Now I know Facebook lead ads, if you do command, now some people don't, some people do Facebook ads through Facebook. So you would have that come in, you could make that a tag. So when it comes in as a lead, you could put Facebook lead on there. I just know that I use Facebook lead ads a lot for career night, but that doesn't always mean that's where they originally came from. I have found over time that someone hit me through Facebook and they'll come through career night and they'll write Adrian Bailey on there as a referral, right? But they saw a Facebook ad as well. So it could be some just conversation and figuring out a way to ask and making an offer for immediate response. So, I mean, I think red light, green light is a lot of times with whatever new shiny objects coming along, right? That somebody wants you to buy into. It could be
You mean the marketing?
Do what?
The constant marketing that we get. Buy this,
Yeah.
buy that. Hey, I'm here. Do this, do that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so annoying.
Well, I mean, it's like decide what you're going to give to and what you're going to spend ahead of time, and then just track those things and see if they're getting you a return on your investment, and then do some research on what you do next for sure. So let's talk about the three key areas of your budget model, and leading with revenue. One, leading with revenue, make money before you spend it, minimize your startup cost and debt before you open a business by start generating revenue quickly and have a much better chance for survival, because right, the business expenses don't stop. Not living in a field of dreams. If I spend it, they will come approach, which I see that sometimes as well. And that's really just throwing all your money, I think, at online leads. So hold the money you're spending accountable. When we talk about budgets are to be respected, doing the research to determine how the money in your business should be spent, and then not following it can be seen as sheer folly. I wrote that down on page 156. So I know we've just been kind of freestyle talking about these topics, But those are some things that I underlined on page 156 about the 3 things that we just need to focus on. So on page 157, the budget model, and here's all of those percentages that you were talking about, Janet, and giving you how much you should be spending on things. And at the very top, it's got on this section. Now the next sections are the budget, the organizational model, the Legion model, and the economic model, all revisited again, only in the view of being a millionaire real estate agent. Like, it gives you the exact numbers for that. This is just for everyone, right here. But it tells you at the top, gross commission income, that's the number, the money you brought in. And then cost of sales is your main thing that comes out first. Now, cost of sale is only paid when you sell something. It's the cost of the lead. So that's going to be the royalty to KWRI, right? That 6% that caps at $3,000. That's a cost of sale. That's the cost of doing business. That's the 30% to your office. So you automatically have $16,750 if you are an individual agent by yourself as cost of sale. That's for the whole year. Now, that's if you cap. If you don't do enough production, you've not paid that much money in, but that's the cost of doing business, right? So you'll be able to see that when you get your check statement from the office. It'll have that broken down for you. A cost of sales also, if you paid out a referral to someone sent you a lead and you would have never met that person. They sent it to you from wherever, Ohio, and you had to pay for that lead. That's a cost of sale, that 25%. So those are some cost of sale. Anything you've paid out of your commission for that lead is what you would pay. Now, expenses or everything else, you pay those whether you have a sale or not, right? Those are expenses of doing business. So if you've got a repeating event, you got a billboard, you've got your office bill, that's an expense, right? That happens whether you have a sale or not. Those are expenses that happen in your business. So there's a lot of things that could be operating expenses. That's the staff salaries. A cost of sale, if you had a buyer's agent, if you're a team and you are paying someone to take a lead, that lead that they took cost you money because you didn't do that transaction yourself. So you had to pay. You lost 50%, and loss isn't really a great word, but you understand what I'm saying. You gave 50% to somebody else that cost you that lead to close. So that is a cost of sale if you're a team owner, if you're paying a seller or a buyer side for doing that transaction. So sometimes you may have a salary, you might have an admin, you have the Zillow leads, right? The Facebook leads ad, those are operating expenses. Any technology, auto insurance, equipment, all those things categorized under operating expenses. And there's a little bit of a framework here for you to see if you're overspending on that. And it's something to pay attention to. And I love, Janet, that you're doing that. So that you've said that you think that you're spending a little bit much on that. And in a shifting market, I think learning and education are still important. So I don't know that would be something that I would cut. You may look at other areas to cut, but being better at your business and investing in you, I think, is always a benefit, especially with the coaching and the things that you're doing. So knowing the difference between cost of sale and expenses is important, and commissions and expenses. So those are some things that I think a lot of agents just get in business and they just go month to month. They are free spirits. They are just reacting. They're going out and finding business and spending money, but they're not holding their dollars accountable, nor are they planning a budget of what they're going to spend. I think and I don't say that about KW, I say that about the whole world in general of real estate agents in the population, right? So any thoughts so far on what we've talked about? Do you feel like the budget model is intimidating? Janet says no. Kind of, maybe. We don't like talking about numbers sometimes, but I think that when I underlined on page 158 that some
No, you're
agents
in my
choose to
video.
review their financials much more frequently than most. And that the Millionaire Real Estate Agent budgeting is not only a core part of their business practice, it's also taken on the aspects of the game. So they feel like it's part of the game of winning, is that piece. It's not just about going and finding the lead and closing the lead and servicing the client. It's about the money and it's about the game and it's about winning, because you're in this for a profit. You're in it to help people, and you're also in it as a business to make money. So you have to think of it that way. And it's not a dirty thing to think of it like a business. I think when I talk to so many agents getting new in the business, they're like, I don't want to be salesy. I don't want to be a salesperson. I just want to help people. And I think that's what you have to have in this business. At the same time, you are opening a business. And if you don't think of it that way, you will close your business because you don't want to be salesman. You are a salesperson. That's what you do. And you also are a consultant and you help people. Okay, I'm off that soapbox. I'm off that soapbox. So it's the perspective that a millionaire real estate agent has, or someone doing a business. The perspective is the money is part of the game. I'm going to be looking at the money constantly and I'm going to run it like a business. It doesn't mean that you're perfect at numbers. It means that you are living in the numbers. So I think you look at it sort of like Dave Ramsey, right? You focus in your gazelle intensity on your business and your budget, and you've got to have all of the pieces together. The economic model, where am I going? What are the numbers? Lead generation model, how am I going to get the numbers? Where am I going to find them? And the budget model, how am I going to actually make money, not spend too much money to where it makes sense for me to be in business? So all of them go together. Isn't it fun? Yes, it is. It's a lot. What was that, Adrienne?
I think it's fun to make the money and spend the money for me.
Now, what? Did say that again?
I said, I think it's fun to make the money and be able to spend the money for me
Yeah.
and all my fun stuff.
It's that you have, because you have your big why, right? So the business funds the profit over here that funds your big why and why you're doing this. It's all of that generates to make that life worth living and the legacies worth leaving, part of our mission statement. Business is worth owning and careers worth having. All of it go hand in hand for that.
I enjoy listening to you and learning more about the budgeting, because I am so tight with the budget that I hold on to it, not to spend it. I keep it because it's more of a security for me. So for me to spend it on, like I said, it's not me, it's sitting in an account. It's harder for me to actually allot it for some of the things I need to do. So mine's probably different than a lot of people. I just don't spend it freely, and I'm not crazy about it. It might look like I am, but I'm really not.
No, I don't think that it looks that way at all. I like that you've put it into a place over here because it's your nest egg to be able to, when we have shifting markets. This is why Gary talks about the shift and being able to watch your budget. So when times are lean, and those that have not worked a budget or watched what they're doing, or you are implemented a lead gen model, it's going to be harder for them. Right now, we will see a lot of people go out of real estate business that haven't had the conversations around the shift and lead gen model and organizational model and all those things. They've never been exposed to it. If you've not been at Keller Williams, most brokerages don't talk about that on an ongoing basis. So if you're hanging out on Keller Williams KW Connect and you're hearing a lot of it, if you're on Pivot Shift, you're hearing it. So all of the places where we've been talking about it forever, it takes us talking about it constantly, right? Like, just like Janet said about being debt free, and you going through the process and you get the model of doing that and how you budget and you set up your life for your savings and your investment and all the insurance and all the things that take you through financial piece. You have to keep visiting it because life happens around you, right? We eat the cake when we're being on a diet, right? So I think that's why it's important to go through the book multiple times, is because we have to revisit it, because we're natural and sometimes we have gypsy spirits. So we have to be focused on being business. So guys, it's already 9 o'clock and I feel like I skipped tra-la-la through this whole budget model, and I hope that you got some value out of talking about it. but please, please, please do read it and make your budget this year and watch the numbers and how much you're spending, because it's a bumpers, right? It's the bumpers on the bowling alley that keeps you down to knock all those things down at the end and not go in the gutter, right? Is there anything you guys would like to add as we're off? Somebody on Facebook Live might be watching. What nugget you want to give them about budgeting? Yes, Janet.
Todd Butzer was the director of the North Central region when I was there.
Oh, he's awesome.
He does this one class that is just amazing. Every time, I've heard it twice now, but he talks about how so many real estate agents just get their GC or their check from the office, put it immediately into their personal account and go spend it. And then they haven't even thought about their taxes at the end of the year.
Yes.
And trying to, do your, even if you're just a Schedule C, trying to pull that out for your taxes to know what was business and what wasn't business expenses. And so he really stresses the importance of keeping your money for your business separate from the money from your personal. And then the other thing he suggested too was, and I've never done this, is to have an account where you put your money and then you pull in what you've budgeted for each month into your spending account, your checking account for your business. And that's one way to make sure, if you go over budget, you've gone in the hole in your bank account. So
that's a real big accountability.
I don't have that. I don't have that much guts.
Well, I thank you for bringing up taxes. It's a place where a lot of agents get in trouble. And here's a suggestion. And the office has been talking about this because it kills our soul to have to call about board dues and MLS dues, right? And I think that when you think about, you can take money, we tell people you can take money when you have a closing, you get a check and put it over here in a little savings account. But if you're not having checks, you don't have that. You can't do that. So you could pay extra I know you don't like hearing this, on your agent bill. If you want to put money toward dues and any of those things, why not budget to save back for that if you're having a struggle, because you're going to have $1,010 a year that you have to pay in board dues and MLS dues. Yes, Adrienne.
I've had a business account set up, and I did this when I had my insurance business, but I have a business account and my Keller Williams commissions go directly to my business account. And somebody just talked to me. I always took out my taxes off the top, the first thing I did. Of course, my wonderful friend who got me into this business had this conversation with me before I left for Christmas. He said, if you take your tithe out first, for people that tithe, if you take it out first, and then you take out your taxes, you're actually paying you're giving more to your tithe than to your taxes. So that's something I'm going to change. But literally, if you set up your account, and I've got them all connected, so all my money goes into my business account. From there, I funnel, and off the top, I guess I'll do my tithing first, and then I'll do my taxes, which goes into a savings account. So that money has always been sitting there. So I never have a problem paying my taxes.
I love that.
And then I pay myself, and I have set it up where I'm not, whatever I'm making, I have a set amount that I make no matter what, because I know what I need to pay my bills and for my fun. So, and the rest of it still sits in my business account. So if I have an emergency, so a lot of people are one step away from bankruptcy when they have something happen. If something happens to your car, or something happens to your house, you've got anything, or a medical emergency. So I've always got it sitting in my business account. And if anybody needed help with that, that's something I can help them set up. It's so easy to set up those kinds of accounts.
Thank you, Adrienne. That's wonderful. And I think that goes along with that Dave Ramsey, have an emergency fund, right? Have that.
Everybody definitely needs an emergency fund.
Guys,
You should also have a business emergency fund too, so that it's separate from your personal account. And I don't know about anybody else, but during this year, I actually save for my bills that I know I have to pay for next year, such as the MLS dues. So I already have those sitting in that account. So when it comes time, it's not a surprise. It's been sitting there since last year. Just kind of like your taxes, you do your taxes.
Sure.
Well, I already know for the next year, because we're planning it out, especially, where I need to spend money and what I need to pay it on. So if I have it this year, I'm saving it for next year so that I don't have to worry about it.
If you're out there watching Facebook, these are budget rock stars right here. These are your budget rock stars. So I hope that you've listened well to what they've been doing, because they are making sure they're running their business like a business. And if you've struggled with the MLS dues, and listen, I'm raising my hand to that. I had my license since 2002. I've been there, right? So if this is the case, if you're having trouble with the money, then you need to go back to the
take my
economic model
video.
and the lead gen model. Okay. So there's your preaching. And we went 6 minutes over today. Thank you for that little Christmas gift for me. And I've enjoyed hanging out with you. And I'm ready to put all of my holiday stuff up. I'm kind of over it, y'all. I'm ready to get clean and organized again.
Hey,
Your
there's
table looked
12
beautiful,
There's 12 days
Sally.
of Christmas.
What?
Your table looked beautiful that I saw on Facebook.
Ooh, I got some new dishes too from
saw.
London. They are royal
Oh.
Christmas dishes. So I will post those later. But
Wow.
anyway.
Nice.
All right, guys,
Well-
y'all are awesome. And I hope you have a wonderful day. And I'll see you tomorrow. If you come into the market center, call me or text me if you need me, and have a great Monday.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Bye.
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas. Happy